Many of you know Debbie Allen from her role on Fame, from her role as Howard Rollins' love interest in Ragtime, and if you saw her on Broadway in Sweet Charity, you had to be impressed, and we'll talk about all those things as the half hour rolls along. But let's begin with A Different World, because you kind of have the job, I think it's fair to say, to draw a parallel to sports. You're the coach who comes in to a talented team, but they've had a bad record last year and things weren't working exactly right, and you got to pull it together and make it all coalesce.
That's right. Well, I think the first thing I had to deal with was a morale problem. And that's why that calling me a coach certainly fits the bill. I had a wonderful cast of actors who were pretty unhappy and not really feeling that they were collaborating and doing stories that they felt were topical enough or whatever. And then I had a bullpen of these very talented writers, and there seemed to be a separation going on between the producers and the writers and the cast, and they needed to somehow come together. So that was my biggest job, was to go in there and make it all come together, and that I think I certainly have accomplished.
So you directed all the episodes last season, right?
All the episodes.
And what's the role for you coming up this year? Same, or expand to producing? Or?
Well, I produced and directed every episode. I was the producer and the director. There were other producers as well. Well, you're in television, you know, honey. We all have to have that title, darling, to have that little title. Doesn't matter about the money. Just get that title. This season coming up is, we're talking about it now. I only signed to do 1 year of A Different World because I have such an interesting life, Bob, and a big career, and I'm moving in so many directions. I have a big record album coming out in May. I'm doing a movie of the week right now for Disney. I have a full life at home. So when I came into A Different World, I thought this was a wonderful challenge for me to do, to come in and make this show come together. At that time, I thought I was going to have Lisa Bonet, certainly, to put her back into the show. And I did what I was supposed to do in my year's time. So now we're into major talks about, Debbie, would you like to stay, or maybe do another show with us, or right now we're in major conversations about it.
Will you have Lisa Bonet in the future, or
I would love to have Lisa Bonet. You know, I think America and most people have such a misconception about that child. She really took the rap, in my opinion, on that first year in a way that was really unfair. I mean, a lot of the bad press that she got, maybe she has an exotic personality, but certainly it sold a lot of papers, so we can't get mad at her about that. But in terms of her temperament and what she was looking for, when I sat down and talked to her when I first came on board, we had some really heart-to-heart conversations, and some of the people that had been there the year before me never even bothered to ask her, is there a story you would like to do on the show? She was just so excited and thrilled that somebody was really communicating with her. So I felt that there was a big communication problem, and she certainly was the scapegoat for a lot of that drama.
You're a graduate of Howard University, and I'm just guessing, just from the superficial evidence, I might be wrong, but that Bill Cosby and some of the people who have an interest in A Different World probably saw that, in addition to your other talents, as a plus, because here's a program set in a predominantly black university, and you're trying to capture that realistically.
Yeah, I think that really made me the right candidate. My experience on Fame dealing with young people, my own energy, my ability and development as a director, and certainly being a black woman and being a product of a black university, Howard University, made me the prime candidate. And I think Bill said, go get her. And they did.
It seems to me that while certain projects need to be made that deal specifically with the black experience, it'll also represent a step forward when we see films and TV shows where whites are the principal characters, but the next-door neighbor just happens to be black, and the fact that they're black doesn't have anything to do with it. They're not black for the purpose of having a black person to make a sociological statement. Lady goes to the doctor happens to be black.
Well, I've been saying this for years. I mean, this is, I think I would probably be very frustrated as an actress if I had not taken the time and had the ability to develop myself in all these other ways. Because, I mean, Glenn Close and Meryl Streep, these are my contemporaries, and they get to do all these accents and practice and do all these wonderful parts. And I've always said, you know, why couldn't I be the neighbor in Kramer versus Kramer? Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Why not? And it's just a matter of a way of thinking and just people waking up and living. I mean, black people exist. I mean, when you look back at those early movies, honey, in the 50s, those early, you know, Annette Funicello movies, there weren't any black people on the beach, honey. They weren't even selling sunglasses.
And yet Chubby Checker might show up and entertain them.
Or
which
James
was
Brown.
the weirdest thing. Black entertainers performing for an entirely white audience.
But, you know, we exist now. We are on the Supreme Court. We died in the space shuttle. We run for president. We run television networks. We are the #1 show on TV. We are here, so I think it's time.